سيدي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. أعظم الله لنا الأجر بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين، وجعلنا الله من الآخذين بثأره مع إمام هدى مهدي من آل محمد. إمام علي بن موسى الرضا هسد: إن يوم الحسين أقرح جفوننا وأسبل دموعنا وأذل عزيزنا وأورثنا الكرب والبلاء في أرض كرب وبلاء. The day of Hussein, the day of Ashura, has made our eyes bleed and our tears to be shed and our noble ones to be humiliated. And it has caused us pain and tribulation in a land of pain and tribulation. Ya mu'mineen, today our 12th Imam is shedding fresh blood out of his eyes instead of tears. Imam al-Zaman today can see things. He can see the events of Ashura unfolding before his two eyes. He describes some of those scenes in Ziyarat al-Nahiyah, in which he says, As-salamu ala al-shayb al-khadib, As-salamu ala al-khadd al-tarib, As-salamu ala al-badan al-salib, السلام على الثغر المقروع بالقضيب. Peace be upon the bereaved and the patient one. Peace be upon the oppressed one who was without a helper. Peace be upon the one whose rights and dignity were violated. Peace be upon the one whose sanctity was desecrated. Peace be upon the one whose blood was shed unjustly. Peace be upon the one who was bathed in the blood of his wounds. Peace be upon the one who tasted the spears raining down over his body. Peace be upon the one against whom people came together and made lawful the shedding of his blood. Peace be upon the one slaughtered in public. Peace be upon the one who was buried by the strangers from the villages. Peace be upon the defender who had no helper. Peace be upon the gray hair that was dyed with blood. Peace be upon the cheek that was covered with dust. Peace be upon the butchered body. Peace be upon the front teeth that were beaten with a rod. Peace be upon the head raised on a lance. With the dawn of the 10th day of Muharram, Imam Hussein led his followers for the morning prayer. Then he wore his grandfather's armor and turban and put on his father's sword. He then stood to address his followers. Starting with the praise of Allah, he said, إن الله قد أذن في قتلي وقتلكم في هذا اليوم فعليكم بالصبر والقتال. Allah has destined that you and I shall be killed today. Therefore I urge you to be strong and resilient in fighting. Then Hussein began preparing for war and mobilized his band for war to be 7 members, giving the flag to his brother Abbas. The troops gathered in front of the tents where the women and children were housed. Umar ibn Sa'ad, the commander of the enemy's army, came with 30,000 troops. When Hussein saw their multitudes, when he saw their gathering, which was like a torrent, he raised his hands to the sky and prayed, اللهم أنت ثقتي في كل كرب ورجائي في كل شدة وأنت لي في كل أمر نزل بي ثقة وعدة. My Lord, you are my haven in every mishap, my hope in every predicament, my refuge and defender in every ordeal. How many a distress that weakens the heart, that makes the enemy rejoice at the misfortune, when I entrusted it to you and resorted to you out of preference over others. You did not let me down and had driven away and eliminated all these distressing things. You are the giver of every boon and the ultimate source of every wish to be granted. Then he mounted his horse and stood in front of them ready to speak. He began by saying, O people, track back my lineage to see who I am. Then look back and think to yourselves, think about whether it is right for you to kill and violate my sanctity. Am I not the son of your prophet's daughter? Am I not the son of your prophet's successor? Was not Hamza the master of martyrs my father's uncle? Was not Ja'far my uncle? Have you not heard the prophet's words concerning my brother and I? Hassan and Hussein are the masters of the youth of paradise. Whether you believe in what I say or not, even though it is the truth, there are men among you that if you ask them, they will tell you I speak the truth. Ask Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, Zayd ibn Arqam and Anas ibn Malik to tell you that they heard these words from the Messenger of Allah in favor of my brother and I. Qais ibn al-Ash'ath then said to the Imam, submit to the authority of your kinsmen, for they have never treated you badly. The Imam replied, by God, I will never give you my hand like a humiliated man, nor will I flee like a slave. والله لا أعطيكم بيدي إعطاء الذليل ولا أفر فرار العبيد. Imam Hussein then raised his hands towards the sky and said, اللهم احبس عنهم قطر السماء وابعث عليهم سنين كسني يوسف. O Allah, give them no rain, afflict them with barren years like the years of Yusuf, and make them slaves to the man from Thaqif, for they have labeled us as liars and have let us down. You are our Lord, we rely on you, and to you we return. He then began to plead for help and rescue. Umar ibn Sa'ad drew nearer to the camp of Hussein. He ordered the bearer of the flag to move forward. He then took an arrow, placed it in his arch, and released it in the direction of the Imam's camp and said, bear witness for me with the Amir that I was the first to shoot. The arrows then followed like rain, causing injuries among the companions of Hussein. Imam Hussein then said to them, قوموا رحمكم الله إلى الموت الذي لا بد منه. هذه السهام رسل القوم إليكم. My companions, rise to the certain death. May Allah have mercy on you. These arrows are the messengers of your enemies to you. The companions waged a battle and fought for an hour or so. When the dust settled, there were 50 of the Imam's companions dead in the first ambush. When the Imam saw this sight, he said, ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا لوجه الله ألا هل من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله. Is there no one who would come to our help and rescue? Is there no one to protect the sanctity of the Prophet's family? When the women heard this plea, they began to cry. One by one, the companions of Hussein then asked for permission to enter the battlefield to fight the enemy, bidding him farewell. The companions then proceeded to defend the son of Zahra and were killed one after the other. Once all of the companions were killed, the family of Imam Hussein got ready for battle. The first to come forward was Ali al-Akbar. When Ali asked for permission, Imam Hussein could not hold back his tears. فنظر إليه نظر آيس منه وأرخى عينيه وبكى. Then he looked to the sky and said, O Allah, witness on these people the most similar youth to the Prophet has come out to meet them. O Lord, deprive them from the riches of the land, divide them and bring your wrath upon them. Allahumma ashhad ala ha'ula'i al-qawm فقد برز إليهم غلام أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك وكنا إذا اشتقنا إلى نبيك نظرنا إلى وجهه. He then looked at Umar ibn Sa'd and said, ويلك يا عمر بن سعد قطع الله رحمك كما قطعت رحمي ولم تحفظ قرابتي من رسول الله وسلط عليك من يذبحك على فراشك. He said, O Umar, may Allah bereave your family the same way you bereaved me of mine. May Allah send someone to kill you on your bed. Ali al-Akbar entered the battle, killing dozens of troops and reciting, Ana Ali ibn al-Hussein ibn Ali. تالله لا يحكم فينا ابن الدعي أضرب بالسيف أحامي عن أبي ضرب غلام هاشمي علوي. I am Ali, the son of Ali, the son of Hussein, the son of Ali. By God, this tyrant shall never rule over us. I shall strike you with the sword defending my father. Due to the immense thirst he felt and the pain from the scorching sun and the wounds of the swords, he then came back to his camp asking his father for a drink of water. Imam Hussein assured him that Rasulullah will soon quench his thirst. Ali al-Akbar went back fighting with greater ferocity. It was as if his grandfather Ali was in the battlefield. Finally, the evil Murrat ibn Munqidh approached him and dealt a blow to Ali's head, causing him to fall on his horse. His blood began gushing from his sacred head and covered the horse's face. His horse, not being able to see, dragged Ali to the enemy's camp. Ajarakumullah. The enemy troops attacked him. They struck him with their swords and cut his limbs into pieces. Before his death, Ali al-Akbar cried out, Aba alayka minni salam, hadha jaddi Rasulullah, قد سقاني بكأسه الأوفى لن أظمأ بعده أبدا. O Father, farewell to you. Here is my grandfather from whose cup I have drunk. Never again will I be thirsty. In other words, oh Father, don't worry about me any longer. and he says that there will be a cup waiting for you. Imam Hussein rushed to him, seeing what is remaining from his son Ali. Abu Abdullah didn't alight from the back of his horse. The Maqtal says Abu Abdullah instead threw himself from the horse onto the body of Ali al-Akbar. Imam put his cheeks on Ali's cheeks. He cried out loud. He sobbed before the enemy. Hamid ibn Muslim says that until that moment we hadn't heard Hussein crying, Bunayya Ali ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. Oh my son Ali, this life is no longer worth living after you. ما أجرأهم على الرحمن وعلى انتهاك حرمة الرسول. How dare they intrude on Allah and violate the sanctity of the Prophet. He cried out loud, drawing attention from the enemy. Imam Hussein then ordered the youth to come carry Ali back to the camp. The women gathered around Ali, weeping, crying, and beating their chests. The turn was now for the 13-year-old Qasim. Imam Hussein came out of his tent crying, ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا لوجه الله ألا هل من ذاب يذب عنا. Suddenly 2 young boys emerged from their tent saying, لبيك يا عمّا. Here we are, oh uncle. One of them was Qasim. He came asking his uncle for permission to leave. Abu Abdullah first refused adamantly to give him permission, since Qasim was the orphan of his brother Hassan. But Qasim pleaded. He begged his uncle حتى سقط يقبل قدمه ويده. He began kissing his uncle's feet and hands, begging him to give him permission. Imam then hugged Qasim and wept emotionally. حتى سقط مغشيا عليهما. They both fell unconscious. After regaining consciousness, Abu Abdullah gave Qasim permission to go. Qasim fought bravely. He proceeded towards the battlefield. He didn't walk to the battlefield. He sprinted. فَكَانَ يُهَرْوِلُ إِلَيْهِمْ. He was sprinting towards them. Then he started saying, إِن تُنْكِرُونِي فَأَنَا نَجْلُ الْحَسَنِ نَجْصِبْطُ النَّبِيِّ المصطفى والمؤتمن. هذا حسين كالأسير المرتهن بين أناس لاصقوا صوب المزن. He fought bravely, killing many enemies at his young tender age, until his sandal snapped. As he bent down to fix it, Amr ibn Sa'd al-Azdi struck him with his sword over his head. Abu Abdullah rushed to him, crying over his body. فلما انجلت الغبرة وإذا بالحسين عليه السلام قائم على رأس الغلام وهو يفحص برجله. Then the Imam said, يعز والله على عمك أن تدعوه فلا يجيبك أو يجيبك ثم لا ينفعك. It is with great pain that I am helpless. You call but I can't respond, or when I respond I can't help you. Qasim was then brought back to the tents. They put his body next to the body of Ali al-Akbar and other youth. The Imam then said, O Lord, do not lose count of them. Allahumma ahsihim adada wa la turdi al-wulata anhum abada. Do not forgive them ever, O cousins, forbear in adversity, for you shall never see disgrace after today. When Abbas saw the death toll rising, he stood up and ordered his brothers Abdullah, Uthman and Ja'far to enter the battlefield and fight one by one. His brothers fought and were killed. It was now time for Abbas himself to enter the battle. He came to his brother seeking permission to go fight. Imam Hussein did not want to lose Abbas. Tears filled the eyes of Hussein. أخي أنت حامل لوائي أنت كبش كتيبتي. Oh brother, you are the bearer of my flag. If you die, my entire army will collapse and my enemies will rejoice. Abbas replied, I am tired of these hypocrites. I cannot stand the sound of the children crying out of thirst. Their sounds of al-atash is killing me. I want to seek my revenge. When Hussein saw Abbas adamant about fighting, he said, my brother, إن كان ولا بد فاطلب لهؤلاء الأطفال شربة من الماء. If you must, then go and seek some water for these children. Abbas immediately mounted his horse. He took the water container and headed towards the river, cutting through enemy lines. He was surrounded by 4,000 troops who shot at him with their arrows, but he did not fear their multitudes. The standard hoisted over his head, he started attacking them, causing them to flee. He managed to reach the river with courage. As soon as he reached the water, he took a handful to drink. Abbas was thirsty. It had been 3 days since he had a drink. He took a handful, but then remembered the thirst of his brother Hussein. يا نفس من بعد الحسين هوني وبعده ما كنت أو تكوني. هذا حسين وارد المنون وتشربين بارد المعين. He couldn't drink while Hussein and the children were still thirsty. He filled his water skin, mounted his horse once again. He headed towards his camp. All of a sudden the enemy surrounded him from every direction. Umar ibn Sa'd said, ensure that the water does not reach the camp. If the water reaches Hussein, he shall not spare any one of you. They attacked him from every direction, attacking him all at once. أجركم الله يا مؤمنين. Zayd ibn al-Raqad and Hakim ibn al-Tufail were hiding behind a tree, awaiting for Abbas to approach. Zayd struck Abbas on his right arm, immediately severing it off. Abbas cried, والله إن قطعتم يميني إني أحامي أبدا عن ديني وعن إمام صادق اليقين سبط النبي الطاهر الأمين. He grabbed the container in his left arm until Hakim came out and severed his left arm as well. Abbas called out, يا نفس لا تخشي من الكفار. Abbas, do not fear the disbelievers. يا نفس لا تخشي من الكفار وأبشري برحمة الجبار مع النبي السيد المختار قد قطعوا ببغيهم يساري. They have severed my left arm. He managed to grab the water skin with his teeth. Staying without his two arms, he headed towards the camp camp, but the enemy did not give him a chance. They rained him with arrows, one resting in his eye and one hitting the water skin, causing it to drop, and another pierce through his chest. Abbas was now hopeless. فوقف العباس متحيرا. Abbas was perplexed. Why would Abbas, the son of Ali, be perplexed? Because he has no hands to fight with, no eye to see with, and no water to take back to the thirsty children. When the container fell, Abbas lost all hope and stopped going towards the camp. Instead, he stood in his spot. All of a sudden, a wicked man hit him with a metal pole on his head, causing Abbas to fall on the ground. I ask you, O Muslims, when a man falls to the ground, how does he shield that fall? He uses his hands. Abbas has no hands. So how does he fall? He falls over his face. Abbas has an arrow in his eye. رحم الله من نادى وعباسا ومظلوما. Abbas fell on the ground. As he fell, he called Hussein for help. For the first time in his life, he addressed Hussein by saying, "Oh brother, akhi adrik akhak." Oh brother, rescue your brother. Hussein rushed to him, causing the enemy troops to flee from him. Hussein began saying, "Ila an tafirrun wa qad قتلتم أخي إلى أين تفرون وقد كسرتم ظهري." Where do you flee when you have killed my brother and broken my back? When Hussein approached him, he first saw the water skin, then the flag was on the ground, then he saw the two arms of Abbas scattered on the battleground. Abbas was lying on the ground, an arrow embedded in his eye, another arrow in his chest. Hussein cried immensely, saying, "Akhi Aba al-Fadl, al-an inkasara dhahri." الآن انكسر ظهري وقلت حيلتي. الآن شمت بي عدوي. Now my enemy has rejoiced. They gathered around them, clapping, singing, laughing. "We have killed Abbas," they said. أخي من للعيال بعدك أخي من للفواطم بعدك. Abbas, my back is now broken. My enemy has rejoiced over your death. Abbas, there is no one to support me any longer. Abbas, who will safeguard the daughters of Rasulullah after you? Imam Hussein tried to take Abbas back to the camp, but he refused. He had promised the children to get them water. He couldn't go back empty-handed. After a few moments, Imam Hussein was seen walking back to the camp all alone, downhearted, sorrowful, hopeless and weeping, wiping his tears with the sleeve of his shirt. Sakina approached and asked about her uncle. He told her Abbas is gone. Abbas has been killed. Zainab overheard him. She started screaming, "Wa akha, wa Abbasa, wa dhay'atana ba'dak." "Oh Abbas, we are lost after you." The women cried and Hussein joined them in crying. After the death of Abbas, Hussein was left without any supporters. He looked around and saw nothing but dead bodies around him. He kept on shouting, "Ala hal min nasirin yansuruna لوجه الله ألا هل من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله." Is there no one to help us? Is there no one to protect us? Before Hussein said his last farewell, his sister Zainab brought him his infant Abdullah. Zainab told him the child is dying out of thirst. Imam Hussein grabbed his son. He headed towards the enemy and asked them for a few drops of water. The enemy huddled around each other to decide whether to give him water or not. All of a sudden, as Hussein stood with his 6-month-old infant, Harmalat ibn Kahil shot the infant with an arrow. فَذَبَحَهُ مِنَ الْوَرِيدِ إِلَى الْوَرِيدِ. It pierced through the child's neck, killing him instantly. Imam Hussein scooped the blood that was dropping from Abdullah's neck. He threw it towards the sky and said, "هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ." Imam al-Baqir says none of the drops came back to the ground. This was Imam's special sacrifice and offering to Allah Almighty. When the Imam remained all alone, he called out, "Ya Zainab, ya Kulthum, ya Sakina, ya Ruqayya, هذا آخر الوداع." Oh Zainab, oh Kulthum, oh Ruqayya, oh Sakina, oh Rubab, may peace be with you. I am leaving you for good. This is the last farewell. قوموا إلى التوديع إن أخي دعا بجواده إن الفراق طويل. فخرجنا ربات الخدور حواسرا وغدا لها حول الحسين عويل. We shall meet in paradise. Be patient after my death, for you have many tragedies awaiting you. Then he asked for his horse. Zainab brought him his horse. As he was about to leave, he heard a faint voice calling him from behind. "Mahlan, mahla, ya ibn az-Zahra." Slowly, slowly, O son of Zahra. Hussein looked back to see his sister asking him to alight from the back of his horse. "What do you want, oh dear sister?" "I need to do something. I have instructions from our mother. Could you please come off the back of your horse?" Aba Abdullah alights. Zainab then embraced the Imam. Then she kissed his throat. She then looked towards the city of Medina and said, "Oh mother, I have done what you asked me to do." The Imam then went to the battlefield. He looked right and left, searching around, only to find out that there was no one remaining to support him. This is one of the most painful moments in Ashura, O mu'mineen. نظر يمينا وشمالا فلم ير إلا من صافح التراب جبينه وقطع الحمام أنينه. He looked to his family and companions to find them slain like sacrificial lambs. فنادى, he called out, يا أبطال الصفا ويا فرسان الهيجا. O heroes of the battlefield, O warriors of the war, ما لي أناديكم فلا تجيبون وأدعوكم فلا تسمعون أنيام أرجوكم تنتبهون. I am calling you, answer my call. If you're asleep, please wake up. أم حالت مودتكم عن إمامكم فلا تنصروه. Or is it because death is preventing you from supporting me? هذه نساء الرسول لفقدكم قد علاهن النحول، فقوموا عن نومتكم أيها الكرام وادفعوا عن حرم الرسول الطغاة اللئام. These women of the Prophet have been bereaved for your loss. Please rise, O noble ones, and protect the progeny of the Prophet from the wicked tyrants. ولكن صرعكم والله ريب المنون. The Imam, when no one answered him, he answered himself. He said, death has prevailed over you, or else you would have supported me. ثم نادى بصوت حزين. Then he called out with a sad voice that breaks the heart. Oh Habib, oh Muslim ibn Awsaja, oh Zuhair, oh Muslim ibn Aqil, where are you today? He heard the sorrowful cry and wailing of the children and women, whereupon he repeated his plea. Is there not a protector who can defend the sanctity of the Prophet? Is there not a believer who may fear God of that which is befalling us? The intense crying of the women and children reached a new peak. The Imam then entered inside the tent of Sajjad, his son. When the Imam saw his father covered with the blood of Abbas and Ali al-Akbar and Qasim, he opened his eyes and said, oh father, where is Habib? Habib has been killed. Oh father, where is Ali al-Akbar? He is martyred. Oh father, where is Qasim? He's been killed. Oh father, where is Abbas? He's also been killed. Imam Sajjad then suddenly got up, leaning on a stick, dragging his sword, for he was ill and could hardly move. Hussein shouted to his sister Zainab, احبسيه لألا ينقطع نسل آل Muhammad. Prevent him from leaving before the lineage of Muhammad is severed. Then the Imam challenged the enemy to come and fight with him. Then whoever came forward to confront him was sent to hell by Hussein's sword. One of them says, by Allah, I have never seen a man who had lost his family members and companions and bearing the sorrow of all calamities, yet showing so much courage and bravery on the battlefield. The enemy continuously launched collective attacks on him. He responded to all of them. As a result of his counterattacks, they fled from him like a flock of goats fleeing from a lion. Then the Imam would return to his main place and continue saying, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. The Imam fought continuously until the time the enemy separated between him and the women and children. The Imam shouted at them, woe unto you, O followers of the family of Abu Sufyan. If you have no religion and do not fear the hereafter and resurrection, then at least be free and noble in this world. And if you are Arabs, then return to your race. Shimr replied, what are you saying, son of Fatima? Hussein said, I am the one who was fighting you, and the women have nothing to do with this. So long as I'm alive, forbid your men from reaching my family. Shimr then ordered his army to target him in person. A fierce fighting raged. Since he was very thirsty, he attacked the flank of the enemy, which was sealing off the Euphrates. He managed to disperse them and make his way to the river. Once he was in the water, he extended his hand to drink. A caller shouted, do you enjoy drinking water while the sanctity of your family is being violated? He let the water spill from his hands without drinking and returned to the tent. Hussein turned to his daughter Sukaina, who was sitting in a corner of one tent, crying and lamenting. He stood by her, showing sympathy and solace. سيطول بعدي يا سكينة فاعلمي منك البكاء إذا الحمام دهاني. Your sorrow will last long after my death. Do not add anguish to my injured heart by crying now that I am alive. But if I am killed, oh beloved Sakina, feel free to cry forever. Umar ibn Sa'd yelled, woe unto you, attack him while he is busy with himself and his family. They charged at him, raining him with arrows. Imam Hussein attacked the enemy like a roaring lion. He received many wounds all over his body, mostly because of the arrows. He then returned to his position, repeating the saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He asked for water. Shimr answered, you are not going to taste it until you enter hellfire. Another man called him, O Hussein, can you not see the waters of the Euphrates flow, moving like the belly of a snake? But you are not going to drink from it till you die of thirst. فوقف ليستريح ساعة أجركم الله يا مؤمنين يا شيعة أبي عبد الله يا صاحب الأمر والزمان أجرك الله. Imam Hussein was weakened from the thirst, from the wounds, from the fighting, so he paused to rest for a moment. When he paused, Abu al-Hutuf hurled a stone at his forehead, causing the blood to stream down his face. رحم الله من نادى ومظلوما وسيدا. He grabbed his shirt to wipe the blood from his face, whereupon Harmala shot him with a three-pronged arrow, piercing his chest right on the heart. Ya Mazluma wa Sayyida. The arrow came out from the other end. Abu Abdullah said, Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah, in the name of Allah and by Allah. Then he raised his head towards the sky and said, O Lord, you know full well that they are killing a man. There is not one on the face of the earth, a son of the daughter of the Prophet, save him. He pulled out the arrow, causing the blood to gush out. He took a handful. He then stained his beard with it, saying, هكذا ألقى الله وجدي رسول الله وأنا مخضب بدمي. This is how I shall meet God and my grandfather Rasulullah, smeared with my own blood. Due to the constant attacks, our master, our Imam, O Mu'mineen, he fell on the ground from the back of the horse, hardly lifting his head. When a man approached him, first he cursed the Imam, and then he struck him with the sword on his head, which was covered by a helmet. The helmet was now drenched with the blood of Abu Abdullah. He took it off, wrapped his turban on the cap, and said, may Allah deprive you of eating with your right hand and gather you on the day of judgment with the oppressors. The Imam was now covered with blood. Abdullah, the son of Imam al-Hassan, an 11-year-old boy, saw his uncle surrounded by enemies. He managed to release his hands from his mother's grip, hurried towards the pit where the Imam was sitting. He sat in the Imam's lap, looking left and right. When an enemy soldier approached, he lifted his hand, he lifted his sword to kill the Imam. Abdullah called out, Ya ibn al-Khabitha, ataqtul ammi, O son of the wicked woman, you're trying to kill my uncle. The boy shielded the Imam with his arm from the stroke of the sword, whereby his hand was cut off and began to dangle from the skin. He looked at his uncle. He said, Ammah, laqad qata'u yamini. Uncle, they have cut my hand. Look at what they've done. The Imam said to him, be patient, you will soon join your father and your ancestors. Harmala then shot the boy with an arrow. He killed him whilst he was in his uncle's laps. وبقي الحسين مطروحا على الأرض مليا. أيوا مصيبته وويلاه وإمامه. Hussein was now fatally wounded. He was left lying for some time. What prevented them from finishing him off sooner was the fact that every tribe was relying on the other to do so. Shimr then yelled, why are you standing like this? The man is critically wounded. Attack and finish him. ما وقوفكم وما تنتظرون بالرجل وقد أذخنته السهام والرماح. احملوا عليه. Attack him from every angle. Hamid ibn Muslim says, I was standing near Hussein as he was on the brink of dying. By Allah, I never saw a person getting killed with his blood covering him. He is drenched with his own blood, in a better state than Hussein. His face was luminous with light. I was so overwhelmed by the radiance of his face that they refrained from contemplating killing him. He asked for water. They did not give him any drink. فوالله ما رأيت قتيلا مخضبا بدمه أحسن منه ولا أنور وجهه. One of them said, I came to kill him. He looked me in the eye. His eyes were exactly like the eyes of Rasulullah. The Imam then said to them, by my grandfather, I am thirsty. وحق جدي أنا عطشان. One from amongst the crowd said to him, you are not going to drink water until you enter the hellfire. Then you can drink from its boiling water. The Imam replied, I enter unto my grandfather, the messenger of God, and stay with him in the seat of honor with the most powerful king. أنا أريد الحمية فأشرب من حميمها. أنا أريد على جدي رسول الله وأسكن معه في داره. And I will complain to him of that which you have done to me and your transgression against me. They became furious at his words, as if Allah did not instill a grain of mercy in their hearts. Now Umar ibn Sa'd with a group of soldiers are now approaching the scene as Imam Hussein was at the point of death. فحملوا عليه من كل جانب. 30,000 soldiers, ya mu'mineen, are attacking one wounded man. They surrounded him from all sides. Imam al-Sadiq says, فَفِرْقَةٌ بِالسُّيُوفِ وَفِرْقَةٌ بِالرِّمَاحِ وَفِرْقَةٌ بِالسِّهَامِ. A group came with their swords, another came with their spears, a third came with their arrows, and a fourth came with their rocks. Imam al-Sadiq says, فَجَاءَتِ الطَّعْنَةُ فَوْقَ الطَّعْنَةِ وَالضَّرْبَةُ فَوْقَ الضَّرْبَةِ. Every wound came on top of another wound. Every strike, every stab came on top of another stab. أجركم الله. فضربه ذرعة بن شريك على كتفه الأيسر. Ibn Shurayk hit him on the left shoulder. Hussein ibn Numair shot him in the mouth. Sinan ibn Anas, another man, he hit him on the right shoulder. Sinan lodged his spear in the area of the collarbone, then in his chest. He then shot Aba Abdullah in his throat. أيوة ويله ومصيبته. ورماه الحسين في حلقه وضربه آخر على عاتقه وطعنه سنان في ترقوته ثم في بوادي صدره. زينب shouted at عمر بن سعد, عمر يا عمر أيقتل أبو عبد الله وأنت تنظر إليه؟ أبا عبد الله is getting killed while you look at him, while you watch. He turned his face away from her. تقل الشمر بالله دخلي, تقل الشمر بالله دخلي, ومالي قلب بالعين هيدلي. يا ظالم يا ظالم خلي اخويا حسين ساعة اغمض له وامد للموت معه. The Imam says فوضعت زينب عشرها على رأسها. Zainab, the daughter of Fatima, the daughter of Ali, the granddaughter of Rasulullah, put her two hands over her head as she saw Shimr approaching Aba Abdullah. She said, woe unto you, is there not a Muslim amongst you? Waylakum, ama fikum Muslim? Nobody replied. At that point Umar ibn Sa'd ordered the crowd. He said, ihmilu alayh wa arihu, descend upon him and kill him. Shimr initiated the attack. He first approached our master. He started kicking him. Then he stabbed him 12 times. He rolled him over on his face. He pulled out his dagger. He put it on his back. Wow, Hussein, wow, Hussein, wow, Hussein, Hussein, wow, 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 Shaheed, wow, Hussein, wow, Hussein, wow, Hussein, wow, Hussein, جزاك الله خير. تفضل سيدي.